The meaning of life isn't something I've thought about until I became an adult. But if I wanted to trace it all the way back to the beginning, to when I had the first thoughts of how I wanted to live my life, it would probably be the experiences that my parents took me on to visit different countries, amusement parks, theme parks. I mean, as a kid, I was lucky enough for my parents to take me to all sorts of fun places. And so I thought if life could continue to be fun, then wouldn't that be great? And it became apparent to me that if that's how I wanted life to be, then I needed to make money. And so throughout high school, I had a group of friends that studied business classes. And so I did the same. Eventually, I did a business degree in university. But it was also around that time when I got to visit an accounting firm to see what the work was actually like, and realized that while I didn't know what I wanted to do, I definitely didn't want to do accounting. It just in no way sounded meaningful to me at all to check for other people's wrongdoings in their bookkeeping. So that wasn't very appealing. And it was around that time when the idea of passion came to the forefront. And I never had a passion. I don't think I ever had an inclination, even an inkling, growing up of, oh, like this is something that I would want to do for the rest of my life. I never had that. And I don't think most people have that. And so that was the time in university when I actually felt kind of lost. For the first time, I realized that money wasn't everything. If I had to sacrifice my living, the way that I wanted to live, in order to get a certain amount of money, I very quickly realized that that wasn't worth it at all. But I had a problem. I didn't know how to find my passion. Like, what was my meaning of life? What was the one thing that I could do for the rest of my life and be happy, fulfilled, and make money from it? That didn't exist. And so the way I tackled that was I got an education degree and I became a teacher, because I knew there would be time, 3 months of vacation, where I could kind of figure my life out. And I entered kind of half a decade of trying. And I tried so many different things, business models, took different courses, looked into different specializations, degrees, and nothing really stuck out to me. And that was kind of how I lived life, devoid of passion and devoid of meaning, always searching and finding. And one day I came across a YouTube video that said anybody that's trying to look for happiness by default does not have it and will not have it, because you by definition cannot have something you're trying to constantly look for. And you can't count on the world to give you something that you find only inside. And so it was at that moment in time when I wondered if my mindset around the meaning of life and passion and follow your heart, find your passion, was wrong all along. And I think I was. And I think it was at that time when I realized that if I kept looking for the meaning of life and kept trying to find my passion, that I would not only never find it, I would also be miserable for the rest of my life. And so instead of trying to find my passion or meaning of life, maybe a new thought enters my mind. Maybe life is inherently meaningful. And maybe I don't have to be passionate about a specific thing if I am just passionate about life. And so, given that, as an assumption. How do I live a meaningful life? Because I have a life of meaning. How do I live life passionately? Because I'm alive. And so I have the capability to be passionate for this life that I'm living. What would life look like if you were passionate? Is the question that came to the forefront of my mind that I had to keep asking myself. And a few years ago, that answer to that question became clear because that was when I met my now wife. And for my first years abroad, I had always lived alone. I had always tried to serve myself in whichever way possible. And I didn't realize how much satisfaction I actually received from serving others and adding value to others. Not in like a people pleasing kind of way, but in a wow, I can actually help you. Wow, like we can create this life together kind of way. And so that realization leads me to who I am today, is that I am someone that creates. Whether it's me creating these YouTube videos because I want them to be valuable to someone, or me trying to create a life for my loved ones. And I should have realized this sooner because teaching was something that I inherently kind of nudged myself towards. And teaching is such a service, help oriented job. And so I should have realized that this was my answer. And I never want to claim that this is the answer, like this is the meaning of life, like creating something of value is the meaning of life. But it's just something that I come across to work for me. And if that is true, then finding passion is no longer relevant, right? Like instead of finding passion, I just want to think about the life that I want to create for people I want to create that life for. And I want to think about the ways that I'm open to getting to that place and then work at it and realize that not every day is going to be a breeze, not every day is going to be great, but because the final destination is worth it in the end, we keep going. I keep striving. And the second thing that I kind of have to shift my mindset around is this idea of money. I wanted to make as much money as quickly as possible, but throughout these last 8 years, I realized that money is a byproduct. As an economics teacher, money is the byproduct of creating economic value. And so if you actually want to make meaningful money, the answer to that is to not make as much money as possible. The answer to that is not follow your passion. The answer to that is to create something of value to someone else and find inherent satisfaction in that process and trust that the money will come as a byproduct of the economic value you create.